Good morning and a warm welcome to you all, and thank you so much once again for joining the Women Warriors Network event, Opportunities and Challenges for Women in Business. So again, as I always say, it's not just for women, it's also for wonderful, amazing men also. It's just that us women lead. This is our platform to put us up there and just give us that voice to speak out and to share our stories. So again, we have another absolutely fantastic lineup of speakers, women speakers, which always excites me, and I'm very privileged and grateful to be connected with all of you amazing people. So I mean, this network, this platform is something, you know, which is growing month by month globally, and hopefully giving you connections that you can connect, contribute and develop these relationships. So I'm Sandy Donnelly, passionate advocate for health and well-being and also female empowerment. So I set up, sorry, my things are pinging. I set up this Women Warriors Network in the midst of the pandemic when I just thought, bugger, what am I going to do? Basically, all of my retreats were cancelled, just like a lot of many other people. My retreats all abroad and still ongoing until I can get them booked up again when travel permits. And then all of the other bits and pieces I was doing. So I realized then there were so many other women in this situation, you know, whether it was they were struggling through work or just to connect with other people who were in the same kind of positions as we are. So this way we're able to build this platform up globally with incredible people, and just to get some wisdom and knowledge and learn from other people, other women, other men, whoever it may be, and then you just unite us all together. So I'm very grateful for you all for being on board. Again, we had over 800 people who signed up. So as I always say, although everyone doesn't come onto this particular channel to tune in, there's another couple of channels where I have it going live and then I send out the recording. So you will all shine so beautifully anyway. But please also just take a minute to, in the chat line, to introduce yourself, just where you're from and what you do. And then if there is any collaborations, please go for it. This is what it's all about. I want you all to connect and be connected. So, opportunities and challenges. Again, as I said, I was affected. I think most people have been affected during the pandemic in particular. But, you know, we just got to keep going, crack on, get on with it, be the warriors that we are, and just do what we have to do. I'm incredibly grateful for everything I have in my life, my family, my friends, my home, my everything. Business, I just keep cracking on at it year after year, in the hope one day, as Del Boy says, I will be a millionaire. But let's see if that ever happens, to me. So on that note, I would like to introduce you to our amazing speakers. So the lineup we have today is Priyanka Vijayan, hope I'm saying it correctly, from Dubai, who's based in Dubai. Jade Brooks, who's our birthday girl of the day. She's based in Bristol here in London. Sinead Lennon, our lovely Irish lady, who is looking like she's in a New York apartment there, but I think she's tricking us here, but it's looking good. And we have Dr. Satnam Deuchakar. She's based in England. I'm going to tell you all about each person as we go along. Guys, just please ensure that you mute yourselves, please, so that we can hear everybody speak, and I can highlight them when the speakers are speaking. So we're going to start with Priyanka. Priyanka, as I said, she's based in Dubai. She's a senior manager, international ventures at the private office of Sheikh Zayed bin Ahmed Al Maktoum, who I know of because Guys, sorry, if you have your, can you mute if you're not muted, please?
Oui.
Oh.
Une team, 2-3 personnes, oui.
Oh, okay, sorry. Who is it? Let me see. I see. I found the culprit. Don't worry, I've muted this culprit now. In Monaco, I think this young man is. So Priyanka, a warm welcome to you. Thank you for taking the time. I know you're 3 hours ahead of us, but for taking the time to come and speak with us today. So welcome. And so UAE, how long, for number one, have you lived in the UAE? What brought you there? And what type of work did you start with then to bring you to where you are?
Okay. First of all, Sandy, this is a beautiful platform for everyone to speak. So thank you so much for giving this opportunity. And it's really a pleasure to speak with all these wonderful women out there. So the UAE, what brought me here? That's a very interesting question, because when you see UAE, everyone sees expats over here because the major population is expats. The funny thing is, my parents moved here a long time ago, so I was born and raised over here. So I guess I am one of those people who can say that I've seen Dubai as a city being built, Burj Khalifa for that matter, which everyone knows about, the tallest building. I've seen it being built. So I did my schooling here in Sharjah. At that point, there was no UAE as such. It was just Sharjah and small city, and that's it. There was no Dubai being built. So one of the things that I clearly remember from my childhood is the simple life that used to be in UAE. We had only one mall we go to. Now it's a whole city, which everyone, all the tourists are looking forward to come to. So UAE as such has gone through an exponential growth, and it is today the Dubai that we all know of. So when I graduated in 2009, it was during the recession time that I was here. So my career started during a recession time. So everyone at that point told me, Priyanka, there is no way a fresh graduate like you would be able to find a job here. You should have seen the country at that point. There was very little cars on the road because of the recession. Everything was shut down. It was a very difficult time that the country went through. But thankfully, I have my family here. So I had the chance to think through, to see what would be the best option for me to move forward. And since my background was in engineering, automatically, that's what we all would think, that, okay, I should find something in that. But what I did was, more than engineering, there was one aspect that I actually loved doing. That was meeting new people every day and having conversations with them. So I decided to go with my first job in sales. So I found a small company in Sharjah and started my career as outdoor sales. Let's put it that way. That's how I started my career, but I grew through it, through business development, through strategy, did a little bit of my master's in business, and today I'm here as one of the members over here in the private office of Sheikh Zayed. I can't hear you, Sandy. You're muted.
Sorry, thank you, Priyanka. What an interesting story. And you're still there and you plan to stay there?
That's the question that I still need to answer to myself, whether the UAE is going to be home always, but whether if I'm going to be here for the rest of my life, no, I'm not sure about that. Probably I would move to another country, yeah.
Come to England where the rain is.
Yes, I need to follow the rain now. I think the screen has frozen.
It's frozen on my end as well. Just yeah.
Ah, are we back?
There you are.
Are we back? Oh gosh, I think that was me. Yeah. Sorry, apologies, guys.
No problem.
Incredible that you work for the private office of the royal family. Mm-hmm. So what challenges have you faced in a Middle East country to get you where you are, particularly as a woman?
Okay. So yes, it is definitely an honor to be working for the royal family, and especially the Al Maktoum family of Dubai. One of the things that Middle East as a region always conserves is the culture, while they're adapting modern methods and technology. So it's very important for them to conserve their culture over here. So there will always be challenges for expats to be working over here compared to what they have learned and experienced in other countries. And the truth actually about UAE as a country is that majority of the population over here are expats. So you could say 80% of the population are expats. We have around 269 different nationalities over here, and just 20% of the nationalities are Emiratis. So while coping to this mindset, it all has to be done in a very, very strong way while we're moving forward. So the leadership in the Middle East is quite male dominated, which is something which when I say it sounds very negative, but it might sound very negative, but it is the reality. As the culture, it is very male dominated. And I can see, for example, I can give you a scenario where let's say if I'm in a meeting and 8 members are involved in the meeting, the ratio would be 7-1. There'll be 1 woman and 7 men involved. So the real challenge is when you present yourself in the room and getting a chance to speak, and when you speak, your voice to be heard. This is something which majority of the time going through the ladder, career path, I have seen and I have felt. But UAE as a country has now gone through a lot of growth recently in the past 5 years and have made conscious efforts and appointed a lot of women into senior roles in the region. And this is something which you would be able to easily see in the growth of Dubai as a city. But I would still say that there is a huge gap that has to be addressed. And it is only when women is supported enough by their peers and mentored by their line managers, let's say, for example, to an extent that their voice will be presented without they being even present in the meeting. So we can say that there is some sort of a gender equality. But it's not always negative. There has been, like I am right now in one of the royal family's offices. And today, every meeting that I am there with the CEO makes sure that I have something to say, or if there is something that I have to say, he needs to listen to. He makes a conscious effort to do that. So things have changed from the years, but there will always be a little bit of the mindset that over the years we have to be accustomed to.
That's really quite interesting. I had an experience. I worked in the Middle East for a couple of years, and there was definitely that difference between female and males, you know, and the way things were. But I did see also over the years the changes and the improvements, which is great to see. I mean, I was based also in Saudi Arabia for some time, and that certainly was very different to being in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, you know, into the nice flashy places. Saudi was a very different. But again, it changed a lot over the period of time when I was there, and it was great to have that experience. And I think, you know, there is a lot more respect for women in the workplace. A long way to go, I'd still say, to even it out. You know, I'm sure we will. I'm sure they will get there eventually. You know, I love being out in the Middle East myself, and hope to be back there as soon as we can travel. So no, brilliant. But so there are so many talented women in the Middle East, and there's a definite need for inclusive leaders who can leverage the diversity of views and values of the difference of both genders. So have you seen, again, the change over the years? And do you feel you've made a change with the actual work that you do?
That's a very, very true statement and a very interesting question. So over the years, let's say along with COVID, what I have seen in the recent years, things how it has changed is UAE has always provided expats the freedom and the support system to become entrepreneurs easily over here. So when women find it more difficult, there are so many talented women over here who come from all over the world to pursue their dreams, and they have used these challenges that they have faced in a very positive way, and they have turned that to becoming entrepreneurs. Now, if you go through a lot of businesses over here, they are homegrown businesses and they are owned by women. And this is in all industries. So they have taken these challenges to become entrepreneurs over here. So now with the work that I do, I get to speak to a lot of CEOs from all around the world, and I get to assist them and help them in understanding how their business works. And sometimes I can even help them to bring them into this market and help them to grow over here. So I think if you ask me how I have made a change, I would say helping them maneuver quicker through some of the challenges over here that they might face. That's something which I do now. I can't hear you.
I need some lessons on Zoom to unmute myself and prompt myself.
No problem.
But Priyanka, you know, to see where you've came, like what you've became, what you've developed throughout your lives. I mean, what an achievement, and well done. And I mean, your family, everybody must be very proud of you. And living in, you know, I mean, I love Dubai, so I think it's living in a great country.
It is.
But yeah, incredible, and onwards and up. And I think the royal family are very lucky to have you.
Well, thank you so much. I think I'm very lucky to be a part of the family and to be in Dubai. So really grateful for this opportunity and to speak for everyone.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Priyanka. We'll come back to you later. I know if you have to go, I know Priyanka, she's 3 hours ahead and has another important meeting to follow. So if we lose you along the way, thank you. But please, anyone, feel free to make connections with Priyanka. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Angie.
Thank you. Okay, moving on now. We're going to move on to Jade Brooks. Now, Jade, good morning, Jade. Now, Jade is not only a certified business psychologist and talent development specialist, it's her birthday.
It is.
So happy birthday to you. I would sing it, but I won't show myself up. Happy birthday to you, and thank you for taking the time on your birthday. I know you're away as well, that you've taken the time to give to us today. So,
oh no, thank you.
It's great. It's great to have you on board, Jade. So we'll get straight stuck in with the beautiful Jade here. So talent development includes capitalizing on the strengths and abilities of employees. So in terms of training and development, what does it mean?
Yes, so I think it's quite a loose term, because I think in the old, well, a couple of years ago, it was very much learning development, and now you're starting to hear a lot more talent development and very different understanding of business psychology even. So my role, I contract. I'm starting a new contract again another 2 months. I move around. I've worked in law, charity, prisons, tech. So it all can mean something different, but I think predominantly it's very much around capitalizing, developing individual strengths, group strengths, and that can be done in a multitude of ways. So ones that I tend to things I tend to do, duties, are very much around workshops, focus groups. We really hone in on what is the best direction for that person. Are they an individual contributor? What do they need to do to get to where they want to go? And that can involve coaching. I do a lot of coaching actually, and that can be very much one-on-one or group coaching, and both work quite well. Even the introverted people I find very much open up when they feel comfortable in small groups of their peers. We try to get people to open up more. I think there's very much within the workplace, people tend to close off, but what we're trying to do and what I'm seeing is very much people being themselves. And I'm not sure whether remote working's helped that, and opening up people to speak about what they want from their role. Where do they see themselves going? Other things can include role analysis. So is that role the best role for them? Where can they then go? What can we tweak? And I do a lot around personality profiling. So that's very much psychometric based. I don't agree with all psychometrics. I think there's ones that have been around for 60 years may not be most relevant, but it does necessarily depend on where I'm working, who the client is, and what suits them. But I do a lot around psychometric profiling. And I remember doing that a lot in the prison sector as well, which you would think doesn't necessarily work quite well, but it did. It really helped them understand where they wanted to go when they were released out of custody, and it really set them up in a good way when they get back into society. So it means a multitude of things, really.
Wow, it sure does. Can you work on me, please, Jade? Yeah. Can you figure me out in some way with that psychometric profiling?
Of course.
Were you in a male or a female prison?
Male prison. Yeah, so 700 men, high risk as well. So it's very, very difficult area to be in. But I did a law degree, so it really helped. I did a lot of work in America on death row and in prisons in the UK. So it was very much an experience, but I wasn't completely shocked by it either.
I bet they loved you.
Very protective, I found.
But like to have somebody so positive in an environment, particularly like that, would have such a positive effect with their, as you said, on their release, if they're not mass murderers, of course.
Yeah.
on their release, but I think you could make such a difference. But as you said, you then you went back to the business psychology, which probably fits into your day.
I think I could do more within a business workplace. But I think what I was noticing doing my master's in psychology was that there's a lot of psychology which isn't dealt with within the workplace, and if you can get your working life right, you can usually get your home life, and it has a positive impact on the other parts of your life. We spend so much time at work, so
definitely. No, brilliant. So a lot of the work you do it appears to support employees. So do you see a difference between men and women and the challenges they face in the workplace? Yes, I do, and I think it's still quite obvious, isn't it, that there is a disparity between men and women when you take into account the board. So there's still only 20% of women on an average board. And I've seen that with my own eyes because I work with that kind of senior leadership. I do still see that men are more confident in going for that promotion. That is still, I found, very kind of distinctly obvious within the kind of areas I've worked in. And men are 3 times more likely to go for that promotion. Women seem to question themselves, but whether they have every single trait, as men tend to see, well, I have 2 of those 10 traits and I'm going to go for it anyway. So I think there's still a lack of confidence. And this is very much generally speaking. I've met some amazing, driven, confident, all women are amazing, but I've met those ones that think I'm going to go for it, but there's still very kind of a minority of those women. And I think that's our own confidence and our own belief that we can do it and we are just as good as our peers. But when there is a board that is made up of a lot of men, it can be quite daunting to go for that promotion and get there, especially working in the legal sector. I think that's notorious for that kind of situation, and very much charity and tech. I've seen it in the tech world as well. So, but I have seen change, and I have seen confidence come through, and I have seen this air of I'm driven, I'm going to get there, I want that promotion, and I've seen a lot more motivation. So it's getting better, but being in the contract world, you get to see things a lot quicker and you get to see a lot more scenarios. So I do see it, definitely. I think we all see this, we see it around us, and we did last month. It was a lot of women in tech who were speaking, and in the crypto world. But again, it was exactly what you're saying, Jade. It's the same. They're pushing on through, and women are getting more ballsy and pushing themselves out there. And obviously we want to encourage that they do get out there. And I think there's a lot more men who are supporting women, knowing that they're so hugely talented and have the skills, the knowledge to be in those positions. But there will be one day we say, look at us women, the percentages have changed. But yes, I hope I'm still around to see that. I hope so. I think a lot of it as well is juggling life, isn't it? When you want to be a mother, your priorities then change, and then it's evolution. I think there will be, and hybrid working I think is helping. I think flexible working, we used to say flexible working and it was very much, you can take an extra half hour in the morning off your break. It wasn't very flexible. But now we're actually seeing hybrid working, and I hope that the pandemic, if anything, it has a positive effect. That is it. It's that hybrid working. I think it will be that positive which comes out of it, that people did have that flexibility and to be able to continue to work from home. So finally, the workplace is where we spend most of our lives, but hopefully not now because there's more at home. But with such unprecedented change caused by the pandemic, what advice can you give to anyone to build their self-esteem and just stand out that bit more if they're in the workplace, not at home?
Yeah, definitely. Well, the self-esteem for me is a big a topic that I've researched quite heavily. I did it in my thesis, very much around self-esteem and life experiences and life stages, but that's a bit beyond for this. So where I'd say in the workplace, I had to focus on it and what tips to give you. I think there's a lot going around at the moment in the wellbeing area, isn't there? We're seeing so much. We probably feel a bit thrusted into wellbeing, and there's just so much to take in, and what's the best route. And if I had to say anything, I would say research into the social comparison theory is a really interesting concept, and it really helps you understand how to stop comparing yourself to others. It breaks it down into two pieces. You have to kind of look at the upward social comparison and the downward social comparison. So that's people that you think are better than you and people that think have worse off than you, and start to feel and understand your emotions and your self-belief. It's a really good exercise. So I definitely look into the social comparison theory. And then the other things simply, I think, are very much around removing negativity, so that mindset. You probably heard it a lot, growth fixed mindset. It's so simple, but we forget to do it. So look at the growth mindset, look at what you can be, how can you overcome that challenge? And then I'd probably say the last one I wrote down was around positive affirmations, but using them correctly. So avoid saying, I'm going to be a great success, more around, how am I going to get to be that success? I'm going to do this to get there. So I think it's about making it more achievable. So that's just a few things that I've kind of written down. There's so many you can go through, but I think they really do work. And I've seen some really positive consequences.
Oh, Jade, I love all of that. I'm all for the positivity and the, building the self-esteem, because I think a lot of people, it's quite easy to lose your self-esteem just through, it might be just through a personal experience or through a health matter or work or family, I don't know, a relationship breakdown, whatever. And I think it's quite easy to lose the self-esteem, and you want to be able to build yourself up. So I like all the positive, the affirmations, and the ways just to stay positive and be grateful for what we do have and work on that and just bring it forward. But Jade, it's lovely hearing you talk all about that, because, this is what I want this platform to be about, that it's the wisdom and knowledge you can share with others, that they do, that people can take something away from it and say, gosh, yeah, Rod, I'm going to do this today. I'm going to make myself this better person and put myself out there. So yes, thank you so much, Jade, and a happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I thank you for inviting me, and I hope everyone has a lovely time.
Thank you. And thanks for coming on board, taking the time, and enjoy your trip away as well.
I will. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jade. Okay. Oh, right. Hello. So we have Dr. Satnam Deuchakar, which she's here on board, but I'm not finding her at the moment to start her video. So I think we'll just carry on, and with the beautiful Sinead Lennon. Hold on. Let me get your unmute off.
Hi, Sandy.
Good morning.
My apologies. I got stuck outdoors. I was in an actual council meeting. I came to one of the sites and I got stuck there. I'm sorry.
I have you here. Let me just put you here into the where are you? I'm
sorry.
Here you
Can
are.
you hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Now, and I can put you into the spotlight too. Okay, so Sinead, I'll put you on pause for a moment.
Sorry about that. So,
huge welcome on board. So this is Dr. Satnam Deuchakar. I hope I'm saying that correctly.
Yeah, it is a kind of word, it's easy to play around. So don't worry.
So Satnam, she's CEO Council of the International Chambers of Commerce. But the list goes on and on. UN delegate, Asia, Africa, Chambers of Commerce and Industry, diplomat for the Kingdom of Atlantis. But I'll let you tell us more about that. But firstly, thank you so much once again, taking the time to come on board. It's amazing to have you here joining us. So I'm pleased we got you eventually. So Satnam, Head of Foreign Affairs Arab Union Sustainability, Development and Peace. How challenging have you found business as a female leader?
There are issues, there are day-to-day issues. I think it's not about being a woman and facing these issues. It's more about how to actually, being a woman, how to prioritize everything, because you have your family life, you have your kids, you have your other relations, you have your other commitments, and you have your work. Being a man, you automatically understood, it's just the mindset that they're working and that's the priority, But being a woman, it's I think it's somewhere the kind of, perception around is like they're meant to be looking after the home as well. They're meant to be looking after the kids as well. So the challenges are how to actually balance the whole thing. And then, especially in works like we're traveling as well. So, so you're traveling out of the now. I'm so sorry. I'm at site somewhere. I came with one of the deals that were happening, and I had to come and visit a site.
That's okay. As long as we've got you on board.
I got stuck here. Sorry.
I think now, as you said, no, thank you. You've still taken the time to come on board. So do you believe there are many business opportunities for women? Or is it down to the person's personality, their passion and determination to be successful?
I think in this time, I would say especially there are a lot of opportunities, and we do have to just gear ourselves up. We have to be prepped, we have to be confident, and we have to take whatever comes on board and see how we can go and progress with it. I think the opportunities now that, especially I've been in the UAE for the last 8 months, I've started a new base here. And I've got my company registered. I got like a 3-year residence visa as well. And what I've seen is women are so empowered here. The rulers especially, so many opportunities for women leaders to bring women on, highest of the highest political roles, leadership roles, women empowerment, and so much help for women startups. So there is so much help around. Sometimes it's just about not knowing where to go, what door to knock. So as long as there are, but that's like I said, life is all about constantly looking around, just finding the right channels, but not to lose the motivation. Like I said, especially for the year that's gone, it's so easy. Losing jobs, people were losing hope. And there's so much going on, and especially you have to deal with your mental well-being, coping with all that stress, because no matter how brave we are, how big of a leader we are, we still have these issues behind back doors. We still have to deal with them. It's not going away, unfortunately. No matter how high we. I'm so sorry. I'm having to just make sure it's not a noisy background, and I'm so sorry about it.
But you must be so proud of yourself to what you have achieved, and, setting up so again, I was based in Dubai for some time, and, I did see there were opportunities, but a lot of hurdles also. And that's not in a negative way. I was just, is what I kind of experienced. But I've seen the changeover, in not just the UAE, but, in many places. And there are a lot more platforms giving women that opportunity to get themselves out there, get set up in business, but it also, I believe it's also down to a lot of the individuals. You've got to have that kind of within you to say, come on, right, I'm going to do this. I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going for it. And so you're involved with so many incredible projects. Your list is endless. I couldn't even begin to start reading them out, but incredible, endless, but, amazing. But for you, I know you're back in the UAE now. What does a typical workday look like for you? Because you've got juggling so much.
It's always like from seminars to Zoom sessions to actual physical meetings to visiting sites. And so it's a lot, but I think what the basic thing is, when you enjoy what you're doing, is rewarding. I think you don't take it as work, it's just the motivation that keeps you going, because when you see the results, I think it's very important, everyone's putting in the effort, but when you see some results coming out of the hard work that you're putting in, I think that's the motivation, and that's the one thing that keeps you up. So like I had a productive day yesterday, and instead of having an easy night, I was up till like 4, because I was keeping planning. So it's the adrenaline that works, because it's like, oh yeah, I need to now do more. And if the day wasn't so good, wasn't productive, you just want you just want to hide under the duvet, not think about nothing, and just try to forget everything or do some calming meditation. I want to come out of it. I want to lose what I'm thinking. I want to be in a peaceful zone. So that happens to everyone. That's what I'm saying. The normal humans, at the end of the day, we're all the same. We go through the same things. Some days are gonna be ups. Some days we're gonna find some lows. And it's about just, you have to put yourself as a priority, and you have to sometimes self-prioritize, like I said, very important to look after yourself. So easy to let go.
Yeah.
Within stress, within all that comes up, so much that's coming up. So especially, I always say that, there has to be some me time, a little bit of me time, where you relax, you calm down, you find your own purpose, you talk to your own self, whatever you do, whatever makes you happy, whatever makes you relax, because it's so much to absorb from everywhere. But unless we just have that, detox for our own brain, for our mind, for our own body, it's very important, very important. So yeah, I think that's how it is.
But that's you've got that get up and go in you. It sounds very natural. I mean, I'm kind of, that's the way I kind of work. I'll be up in the middle of the night thinking, right, I want to get this done, that done, whatever. Because if I've got something, an idea or a plan I want to do, I'm going to do it then, and my daughters are now grown up, so I don't have young children to deal with, to get up with, so I can be that bit more flexible. But I think it's good to hear your enthusiasm. I can't wait until I can, as I always say on each event, the plan is that I'm going to hold the events in Dubai, in Jersey, Monaco, UK, wherever, Ireland, everywhere, and so that we can actually all meet with each other in person and share this information.
Here in UAE, back in UK, anything you think I can assist with, I'm always there. You can always count on me. Whatever, we can't do everything. Not everyone can do everything. But like I said, as long as we have the attitude, we have that, commitment, that put the 100% effort in to deliver whatever the best we can, I guess we're there.
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much, Satnam. Thank you for taking the time in the middle of your busy day in the UAE. But listen, again, if anybody wants to connect with Satnam, her details will be there, and we will stay in touch, and I will speak to you after. Good luck with your day, though.
Thank you, Sandy.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
I was able to make it. I was so looking forward to meeting everyone.
Thank you. Amazing to have you on board.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Sorry, let me have Sinead now.
Hi.
Sinead, now I have Sinead. Now I want to save Sinead until last, because her story's quite incredible, and she's just a beautiful, wonderful, amazing, positive lady that I think I should have did a whole Sinead's show. Is what I should be doing. But I want to welcome Sinead Scott Lennon on board. She's a resilience recovery coach and communications and wellbeing consultant. So based in London, you're based in London, aren't you? But then
I'm based in London, but I'm currently in Ireland with my family, which is amazing.
Which is amazing. It is amazing. So Sinead, though, you have certainly been on a challenging health journey between yourself and your father. Please, if you don't mind, share it with us.
No, not at all, because it's actually quite a significant part of who I am as a professional as well now. But first of all, just want to say huge thanks for having me. Absolutely thrilled to be here, and totally humbled to be in the presence of Jade, Priyanka and Satnam, who are just crackers. Satnam's energy is just amazing. Loved it. So yeah, in April 2019, I had just started kind of the biggest job of my career in communications. I was really, really excited about the role. And I was kind of, at that time, physically, I was the most fit I'd ever been, training in the gym, you know, really, really motivated. It was a big time for me. But just 3 weeks later, in May 2019, actually on my husband Ben's birthday, I was diagnosed with invasive breast cancer that had spread to my lymph nodes. So Sandy, as you can imagine, the world looked like a very different place. 3 weeks earlier, I was riding on top of a professional kind of wave, and then suddenly I have this situation where I just didn't know what was going on. So there was more challenges to come. On the day of my breast surgery, a routine pregnancy test confirmed that I was 3.5 months pregnant with a much wanted second baby. If I choke up, guys, I'm fine. It's just sometimes emotional talking about it. So just hope you're all okay with that if I do. So yes, a much wanted baby, and I was just hours away from my surgery. So I had to have a meeting with the medical team, and they warned me of the threat to the pregnancy actually that the surgery would bring. Which, you know, it was a no-brainer for me. I had to be around for my family and for my little girl and my husband and my wider family. So we went ahead with the surgery. We had to get the tumor out. But tragically, 4 days after the surgery, we lost our baby. So from there, I you know, all of the questions started to come up. Who am I now? What does this mean? Will I ever have children again? You know, what does this mean for my finances? What does this mean for my career? I mean, there was practicalities and emotional questions. Everything was coming all at once. It was just like a tsunami. But I went straight into chemotherapy, 8 to 9 rounds of chemotherapy, and after that, radiotherapy. So during that time, my little girl had started school, and what really resonated with me was something Satnam said about prioritizing. As women, we have to prioritize. I wasn't just prioritizing my survival. I was also trying to be a mum. I was trying not to frighten my little girl by what she was seeing. My hair was coming out, and so kind of career had to go on the back burner. I just had to survive, right? So I then, after 11 months of recovery and actually an amazing journey of self-discovery, even though I look back and I can't believe it almost happened to me, I also, it was an amazing self-discovery journey, because I worked extensively with a wonderful coach. But I went back to my job after 11 months. I was wearing a wig, I had no hair, and I walked physically back into, it was pre-COVID, walked back into the office in London. And it was the most terrifying thing. And just to walk in, I just didn't know who I was anymore. It was like, I think women who go on maternity leave can maybe resonate with going back after maternity leave. There's a deep sense of, gosh, like, who am I now? This was a huge feeling of that. And within 3 weeks of being back in that job, COVID hit. I was sent home, I was furloughed, and suddenly I was at home, having been furloughed from this job, and homeschooling my little girl, and still recovering from my my cancer journey and my miscarriage and everything that had happened. So as I was homeschooling and being furloughed, at the end of that summer 2020, I had a meeting with my company, and I had heard the news that I felt was going to be inevitable, but they made me redundant. So the levels of unexpected and unwanted change were just huge, and they kept coming in quick succession. And whilst I'd never say that I'm anyway extraordinary, as you have described me as, Sandy, embarrassed to hear that, I think what's extraordinary is the trauma that came in quick succession. So I allowed myself to feel all the deep, horrible emotions, and I allowed myself to go there and be okay with not being okay and all that sort of stuff. But I found myself reframing what was happening. And instead of asking why was this happening to me, I was asking what can I do? What are the opportunities that are presenting themselves to me? And so I retrained as a transformational coach. Not the most succinct answer, but there's a lot to cover.
Sinead, when you so Sinead was introduced to me by a lovely dear friend of mine, Connor Foley, and he said you must hear Sinead's story. Is extraordinary. But as soon as Sinead and I had connected, I thought, well, I was crying, of course. I was very emotional, but I also knew we're going to be friends and we're going to do things together, because, you know, you've been through so much, but you've got this lovely positive energy which shines through. And with what you actually do as well, what you're now doing in business is incredible. And you're going to go so far with that. And you know, I'm very sorry to hear about, you know, the health and losing the baby, because I know, you know, you wanted a second child. Thank God you have one little one.
Yeah, and stepson, so I'm good.
Oh, okay. No, that's good though. But okay, moving on. But it's lovely to hear this, Sinead. So your father Frank and you are authors of Performance Conversations Pocketbook. So why should businesses be encouraging a move towards a more future-focused coaching approach?
Yeah, so first of all, that was an amazing project to work on with my dad. It was just a brilliant opportunity to work with both him and his company, HR for Better Workplaces. I think both of us feel really passionately about a more effective management of people. So away from this directive iron fist mode, and performance conversations are regular conversations with your teams and team members that are focused on future priorities. And it's not about dragging up the past, Sandy, and kind of going into, okay, well, you should have done this better and this, you know. It is actually towards, if we were as managers to engage and leaders to engage in more regular performance conversations, the dreaded annual appraisal would be a lot nicer place to be, because all of those issues would be ironed out regularly every 4 to 6 weeks, whatever works, in a very informal way, a collaborative way, a way that is all about deep listening, about finding solutions, and then the annual appraisal is a breeze, and that's that in theory. But it is a more coaching style of management. It basically says to your people, I trust you, I believe in you. I know you have the answers within yourself. I'm just going to hold a space for you to be able to find those. So yeah, that's where we are with the book, and all those skills and tips and things like that are within the book.
But I think that's amazing, because I think this different approach over the last few years, you've seen a lot of coaches who've popped up. And I remember thinking initially, oh, what's this all about? You know, people are being coaches. Are they just, what does it mean they're doing? But then I got to understand and know coaches personally, and knew then it was more on a personal level, that you know, you're advising, you're supporting, you know, you're engaging. And I guess just a better, nicer way for people to be more productive and perform better. I guess it just makes sense that it's not just, look, go by the book, this is what you should be doing. You somebody personally guiding you, engaging with you on that personal level, and that must definitely make a difference.
Absolutely. How can we expect our people to be motivated and driven and empowered if we're taking that power away by you know, ruling with an iron fist? You know, it's what we need for understanding people's development and opportunities for them.
And I think, you know, if we can, Sinead, I'll get the link to your book so I can share it. And when I send out the recording, because I think
absolutely.
And I always like a pocket book.
Yeah, exactly.
They go down well. They go down well. If you give me a bigger book, I'm like a bit, oh, hold on a minute. Pocket book, I'll definitely read. So
thanks, Andy.
You work with companies and individuals who invest in their people by helping them, kind of what we've just been saying, to learn how to become more resilient, both in and out of the workplace. So, like, I think what you were just saying, how can you help?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, this is so important. First and foremost, Sandy, we're all human beings who face difficult things. Every single one of us does this, and employers need to allow for this. So, as I said, none of us are immune to challenges and unwanted change. What are these things that come along? We have like sickness, I've just demonstrated, bereavement, menopause, marriage breakdown. All of these can come along at any period of time, or for in quick succession, like that happened to me. But yet we're expected to perform in a workplace to a high standard. And I believe that employers have a responsibility to support their employees on a resilience journey, and whatever that means for them. So if it is coaching with someone like me, absolutely brilliant, where it could be coaching within a team, like for an individual who might be going through hell in their personal life, but they need to kind of be performing in a work environment. Or it could be resilience within a work environment. So a difficult relationship, a challenging project, how to get over the next hurdle. And that requires resilience. We have to understand, we have to have a deeper understanding about failure to be able to learn from that and quickly bounce back to be able to be as effective as we need to be in a workplace. So that's effectively what I do. I do workshops on resilience. And I also coach individuals on a number of things. Once you're a coach, I believe you can coach in anything, whether it's on a personal level or on a professional level. So it ranges from personal things to professional things. But in addition, I have a passion for how well set up our workplaces nowadays to receive people back into the workplace after they have gone through a difficult time. So mental health, it's huge. People are signed off all the time because of stress and mental health and depression. Cancer, just going on my own personal thing and walking back into that workplace that day was the most terrifying day of my life. And through no fault of their own, my company was not ready to receive me. They didn't know what to say. They didn't know what to do. They had been very supportive throughout my cancer. But so I have a deep passion for helping managers and teams within corporates to receive people back in a kind and empathetic way that is mutually beneficial. So it's not disruptive for the team and the manager, and productivity doesn't go down, but also so that it's a big warm hug for that person who's coming back in to the workplace. So in essence, that's what my passion is, and that's what I do.
But I think there must be surely there's a huge demand, or do they even know that there is a demand until people are suffering in silence, and as you said, going through such a traumatic experience health-wise, and then they have to go back to work and they're going to be thinking very differently. So I think you're definitely onto something there, which any corporates out there should be signing up to Sinead's coaching programs, because I think it's for, as you said, mental health is absolutely huge. So you hear a lot more about this, and I think a lot of businesses are incorporating that into their well-being or their part of their corporate social responsibility. But I don't think you hear of much of people who've been through a traumatic medical health experience. So I think it's a necessity.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like I said at the beginning, nobody's immune to it. And even more so because of COVID. I mean, when people are starting to be reintegrated back into a physical work environment, there's all sorts of feelings of fear, and people are going to feel terrible going back in. And if there was somebody there to support that process, that's what I'm feeling really passionate about doing.
Good luck with that, and you'll do amazing with that. Again, we'll share all the links of that with Sinead's what she does, because I think it's really important. Sinead, just very quickly, because I want to end up on the hour though. Obviously, you're full of beauty, energy, and enthusiasm. So, is this the main focus and for the future?
Yeah, and obviously my work with HR for Better Workplaces and my dad Frank, but Progress Not Perfection is my coaching company, and it's exactly that. It's a work in progress. So I'm hoping just to continue to build my client base, working with individuals and with corporates. I'm also doing a bit of work within the cancer community because that fills my soul with happiness. I want to give back because I was helped so much, but I'm just so motivated to help as many people as I can find their superpowers, and the resilience that's needed to function in life. And we all have it in us. It's just about a set of skills questions to get to the point of them knowing that they have these powers. So that's really what I really want to be doing, and that's my focus.
Yes. Well, we look forward to hearing and seeing your name spread over all of the media sites and with your development of what you're doing, because I know you're going to be just incredible. You're a lovely lady. And obviously, health-wise, you're okay?
All good. Absolutely all good. I'm absolutely thrilled. Thank you so much for all the good wishes and this opportunity. Amazing.
Yeah, well, we're going to have lots more opportunities like this, and I'm definitely going to have Sinead on board a lot more of these platforms, these like podcasts, because I think you can just give a lot. And
thank you so much. I'm there. Absolutely. Love to.
Yay, good. And I can't meet you in person.
Yes, me too. Big hug. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Sinead, thank you so much.
No worries. Bye. Thanks for having me.
So I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone for these wonderful speakers. I mean, again, for when I connect with these wonderful, amazing ladies, it's like I get quite emotional and overwhelmed, because when I hear their stories and I learn and what they've developed or became or what they're planning to do, I mean, it really does inspire me, which I hope it does inspire a lot of you who do tune in. As I said, we will, the recording will be sent out afterwards. And it goes out to a lot of different channels. So although everybody may not tune in when we go live, because they are global, they will get that recording afterwards. We'll do the short version and the long version. So just to end with that, we can applaud the success of these business women and hope all people learn from their wisdom and achievements like I do. And indeed, some of these women are personal heroes to many others who are striving for business success. But guys, we're just going to keep rocking on. We're going to keep developing this big platform of Women Warriors Network, which I'm so grateful for all of the people who became involved with it. We won't have an event in August because a lot of people hopefully are away. I'm hoping I'll be away. So September will be the next event. I will send out and update everyone with the topic. I also want to thank Clarity & Co, the soap company, for sponsoring Women Warriors Network. And if you know of any amazing women who would like to speak, come on board this platform, please do just drop me an email, recommend, and I'd love to have and hear their stories. So on that note, guys, have an amazing week. Have a great summer. I'll send out the recording afterwards. And thank you once again for all of your support. Take care. Bye.